The Plea from the Stars. Commander Maya Reeves stood at the viewport of the Earth Alliance starship Aegis, watching the stars streak past in ribbons of light as they patrolled the outer edges of human space. The silence of the bridge was comforting, broken only by the soft chirps of consoles and the occasional murmur of her crew. 20 years in space had taught her to appreciate these quiet moments. They never lasted long. "Commander, you need to see this." Lieutenant Kai Chen's voice cut through the stillness, his fingers flying across the communications array. "We're picking up a transmission on an unusual frequency. It's not from any known Alliance source." Reeves crossed the bridge in 4 quick strides. "Origin unknown, sir. It's coming from deep in the Vega sector, beyond the threshold." The threshold, the unofficial boundary marking the edge of explored space. Earth Alliance ships rarely ventured beyond it, not out of fear, but respect for the diplomatic complexities of first contact scenarios. Humanity had learned the hard way that rushing into new territory often led to misunderstandings, sometimes bloody ones. "Play it," Reeves ordered, bracing herself against the console. Static filled the bridge, then cleared to reveal a voice, multilayered, resonant, with a strange harmonic quality that no human vocal cord could produce. The universal translator struggled, symbols flashing red before settling into a pattern. "This is Arbiter Null of the Tylothian Remnant. Our colony vessels are under attack by Tarvos collective warships. We have thousands of civilians, children, elders. We are not a warrior people. We have nowhere left to run. If anyone can hear this, please, the collective will not stop with us." The message dissolved into bursts of static punctuated by sounds that needed no translation. Weapons fire, explosions, cries of panic. Then silence. "Signal terminated at source," Chen reported, his voice tight. "Last transmission was 18 minutes ago." Reeves straightened, her mind racing. "What do we know about the Xylothians?" Science Officer Ilara Wade accessed her datavat. "Not much, Commander. Long-range probes detected their civilization 3 years ago. Primarily aquatic species, advanced biotechnology, nomadic culture spread across multiple star systems. Peaceful, as far as we can tell." "And the Tarvos Collective?" Wade's expression darkened. "That we do know about. Highly militaristic multi-species alliance. They've absorbed or eliminated 6 known civilizations in the past decade. Our intelligence suggests they view technological and cultural assimilation as their right, survival of the fittest on a galactic scale." Reeves turned to her tactical officer. "Distance to transmission source. 4 light hours at maximum FTL, Commander," came the reply from Lieutenant Commander Marcus Jackson, his dark fingers already plotting the course. "But it's well beyond Alliance territory. Protocol says we should report to command and await instructions." Protocol. Of course. Reeves had written half the protocols herself after the Proxima incident. "Don't rush in. Don't escalate. Don't act without authorization." All sound logic when dealing with the known quantities of established galactic politics. This was different. "Pull up the visual feed from our long-range boys in that sector," she ordered. The main view screen flickered to life. At first it showed only the cold emptiness of space, then adjusted to reveal distant flashes of light. Weapons fire. As the computer enhanced the image, shapes became visible. Sleek, predatory ships with blood-red engines surrounding a loose formation of what looked like massive organic vessels, their surfaces rippling with bioluminescence as they desperately tried to evade their pursuers. One of the Tylothian ships erupted in silent flame, debris scattering across the void. The sensors registered the energy spike, then the sudden absence of thousands of life signs. The bridge fell silent. "Open a secure channel to Alliance Command," Reeves said finally, her voice steady. "Priority Alpha." The face that appeared on the screen belonged to Admiral Helena Varga. Her silver hair pulled back in a severe bun, deep lines etched around her eyes from decades of difficult decisions. She didn't waste time on pleasantries. "Commander Reeves, Your signal flags this as an imminent crisis situation. It is, Admiral. Reeves transferred the data without preamble. We've intercepted a distress call from a non-human civilization under attack. The Tylothians. They're being hunted by the Tarvos Collective. Admiral Varga reviewed the information, her expression unreadable. I see. And you're requesting permission to intervene? Yes, Mom. You understand the implications, Commander. The Threshold Treaty specifically prohibits Alliance military involvement beyond established territories without Senate approval. Approval that would take weeks to obtain, by which time the Tylothians will be extinct, Reeves said flatly. Admiral Varga's eyes narrowed slightly. What assets do you currently have available? The Aegis, plus the Dauntless and the Sunspear within 2 hours response time, against an unknown number of Tarvos warships. Yes, Mom. The Admiral leaned forward. Maya, listen to me carefully. What you're proposing could start a war. The Senate is divided on expansion beyond the threshold. Half would call this a humanitarian imperative. The other half would call it military adventurism. Reeves met her gaze without flinching. With respect, Admiral, I'm not proposing we expand. I'm proposing we save lives. A long moment passed between them. Finally, Admiral Varga nodded almost imperceptibly. Officially, I'm ordering you to maintain position and continue monitoring the situation. Reeves felt her heart sink. Unofficially, the Admiral continued, her voice dropping. Communications relays in your sector have been experiencing interference. It might be hours before my explicit orders reach you. I trust you'll use your best judgment in the interim, Commander. Understanding dawned. Yes, Ma'am. Communications are indeed quite unreliable today. I thought as much. The Admiral's stern expression softened momentarily. Whatever happens next, Maya, make it count. The transmission ended. Reeves turned to face her bridge crew, all watching her intently. She knew what she was asking of them, what she was risking for all of them. Plot intercept course with the Tylothian fleet, she ordered, and send encrypted bursts to the Dauntless and Sunspear. Tell them the Aegis is answering a distress call beyond the threshold, and we could use some company. Jackson's hands flew across his console. Course plotted. FTL drives ready. Reeves settled into her command chair, decision made. Lieutenant Chen, broadcast on all frequencies, standard translation package attached. This is Commander Maya Reeves of the Earth Alliance vessel Aegis. We have received your distress call and are en route. Hold position if possible. Help is coming. Message away, Commander. Chen confirmed. Helm, engage FTL. Maximum speed. The stars stretched into brilliant streaks as the Aegis leaped forward, crossing the invisible line that humanity had drawn for itself in the cosmos. Within minutes, emergency alerts were pinging throughout the ship as crew members rushed to battle stations. Chief Medical Officer Sanjay Patel stepped onto the bridge, eyebrow raised. So we're really doing this, rushing headlong into a battle we know nothing about to save aliens we've never met. That about sums it up, Doctor, Reeves replied without turning. Problem. Patel sighed dramatically. Just once I'd like to have a quiet patrol. Is that too much to ask? But he was already reviewing casualty protocols on his datapad, preparing for what was to come. 4 hours later, the Aegis dropped out of FTL at the edge of the conflict zone. The main view screen filled with chaos. A dozen massive Tylothian ships, their bioluminescent surfaces flickering weakly as they formed a defensive cluster, surrounded by 30 or more Tarvos warships, angular and black against the stars, their weapons carving swaths of destruction. Reading severe damage to the Tylothian vessels, reported Wade. Life support failing on at least 3 ships. Their defenses are primarily organic in nature, some kind of energy-absorbing membrane, but they're reaching capacity failure. Tarvos fleet is deploying some kind of boarding craft, Jackson added. They're not just destroying them. They're harvesting. Reeves felt ice in her veins. Active scan on the Tarvos vessels. I want shield frequencies, weapon signatures, everything. Commander, Chen interrupted. We're being hailed by the Tylothians. The screen shifted to show the interior of what appeared to be a command center, though unlike any human design. The walls pulsed with living tissue, and standing amid swirling water and floating control interfaces was a tall, slender being with iridescent blue-green skin and large, expressive eyes set wide in a face that reminded Reeves of Earth's cephalopods. Earth vessel, the being spoke, its voice the same multilayered resonance they'd heard in the distress call. I am Arbiter Null. You actually came. The wonder in those alien eyes struck Reeves to her core. We did. What's your situation? Arbiter. Critical. 3 of our sanctuary ships are beyond saving. We've evacuated who we could to the remaining vessels. The Tarvos targeted our engines first. They hunt methodically. Nal's form shimmered as the ship took another hit. Why would you risk yourselves for us? We have nothing to offer in return. That's not why we're here, Reeves said simply. Confusion rippled across Nal's features. I don't understand. Before Reeves could explain, Jackson cut in. Commander, multiple Tarvos vessels breaking off their attack. They're moving to intercept us. Arbiter, Reeves said urgently, my ship alone cannot stand against their fleet. We have reinforcements coming, but until then, we need to buy time. Can your vessels move at all? Our primary vessel still has maneuvering capability, but the others, Nal gestured helplessly. Then get your primary ship behind us. We'll shield the others as best we can. Reeves turned to her tactical officer. Jackson, defensive pattern, Echo 3. Deploy countermeasures. Let's make ourselves as annoying as possible. As the Aegis moved into position, the first Tarvos ships came into range, sleek, predatory vessels bristling with weapons. A communication request flashed on the screen. Let's hear what they have to say, Reeves ordered. The figure that appeared was humanoid, but clearly not human. Bone-white skin stretched tight over sharp features, black eyes without pupils, and a mouth set in a permanent sneer. When it spoke, the translator rendered its words in flat, emotionless tones. Attention, unidentified vessel. You have entered a Tarvos collective cleansing operation. Remove yourself immediately or be designated as sympathizer vermin. Reeves stood, meeting that alien gaze without flinching. This is Commander Maya Reeves of the Earth Alliance. You are attacking a non-combatant species in neutral space. Stand down your weapons and withdraw. The Tarvos commander's expression didn't change. Your species designation is unknown to us. Your authority is not recognized. This is your final warning. And this is yours, Reeves countered. The Tylothians are under our protection now. Any further aggression will be met with appropriate force. The communication cut abruptly. Seconds later, the Tarvos ships opened fire. The Aegis shuddered under the first barrage, shields flaring bright against the darkness of space. Shields holding at 80%, Jackson reported. Their weapons are powerful, but nothing we haven't seen before. Return fire, Reeves ordered. Targeted disabling shots only. I want them to know we can hurt them without revealing our full capabilities. The Aegis's particle cannons lashed out, striking with surgical precision at the lead Tarvos vessel's weapons arrays. The enemy ship veered off, trailing debris. Commander, Chen called out, excitement in his voice. I'm picking up FTL signatures. Alliance signatures. The view screen shifted to show 2 ships emerging from FTL, the Dauntless, a heavy cruiser under Captain Lydia Okafor, and the Sunspear, a swift attack vessel commanded by Captain Riza Tarani. Sorry we're late to the party. Captain Okafor's voice rang through the bridge. Got your message. Figured you might need some backup. Relief washed through Reeves. Your timing is impeccable, Captain. Always is, Okafor replied. Now, how about we show these Tarvos bullies what happens when they pick on the wrong neighborhood? As the Earth Alliance ships formed up around the battered Silothian vessels, Reeves saw Arbiter Null watching from the comm screen, those alien eyes wide with something she recognized across the gulf of species and stars. Hope. All ships, she commanded. Defensive positions. Protect the Tylothians at all costs. She paused, then added, let's show them who they're dealing with. The battle was just beginning. When humans stand together. The Tarva's response was immediate and overwhelming. 20 warships broke formation around the Tylothian vessels, accelerating toward the 3 Earth Alliance ships with predatory precision. They're concentrating fire on the Aegis, Lieutenant Commander Jackson reported, his hands dancing across the tactical console. They've identified us as the primary threat. Commander Reeves nodded grimly. As expected. Status of the Tylothian vessels. Science Officer Wade looked up from her station. The lead ship, what Arbiter Null called their life vessel, has managed to move behind our defensive line. The other vessels are still vulnerable, shields failing, life support critical on 2 of them. Before Reeves could respond, the Aegis shuddered violently as multiple energy beams lanced across its shields. Shields at 65% and dropping, Jackson called out. Their targeting algorithms are adapting quickly. On the view screen, the Dauntless moved to intercept 3 Tarvos vessels, its heavy armor absorbing punishment that would have crippled the Aegis. Meanwhile, the Sunspear darted between enemy formations with impossible agility, its precision strikes disrupting their coordination. Open secure channel to Captains Okafor and Tyranny, Reeves ordered. The faces of both captains appeared on split screen. Okafor's dark features set in determined concentration, Tyranny's eyes bright with the thrill of combat. We're outnumbered 5-1, Reeves stated without preamble. But they're fighting as individuals, not as a fleet. No coordination between vessels. Notice that, Tyranny replied, his ship jolting as he evaded another attack. Arrogant bastards, each captain fighting for their own glory. Exactly, Reeves said. And we can use that. Lydia, your Dauntless has the strongest shields. I need you to push forward, draw their focus. Riza, take the Sunspear on a wide arc. Target their rear vessel's engines. If we can't outgun them, we'll outmaneuver them. And the Aegis? Okafor asked. We'll coordinate extraction of the Tylothian civilians. Dr. Padel is preparing our medical bay for aquatic species now. Both captains nodded their understanding. One more thing, Reeves added. We fight clean. Disabling shots only when possible. We're not here to exterminate them. We're here to show the difference between us and them. Copy that, Maya, Okafor said. Though I doubt they'll extend us the same courtesy. The communication ended, and the bridge crew of the Aegis returned to their stations with renewed focus. Chief Medical Officer Patel's voice came through the comm. Commander, we've converted Cargo Bay 3 into an emergency medical facility for the Tylothians. It's crude, but the water circulation system is online, and we've adjusted atmospheric composition based on Wade's data. Good work, Doctor. Stand by for casualties. Reeves turned to Lieutenant Chen. Open a channel to Arbiter Null. The Tylothian leader appeared on screen, their bioluminescent skin pulsing with stress patterns. Behind them, other Tylothians worked frantically at organic control interfaces, their movements urgent but coordinated. Arbiter, we're creating a corridor for evacuation. Your most vulnerable should transfer to our vessel. We have medical facilities prepared. Nal's large eyes blinked in what Reeves interpreted as surprise. You would take our wounded aboard your own ship, while under fire. That's the plan, Reeves confirmed. Can your transport pods dock with our ventral airlocks? Yes, but... Nal was interrupted by a violent tremor that shook their command center. Another of our sanctuary ships is failing. 3,000 souls aboard. Give us coordinates. We'll send shuttles. The battle intensified as the Tarvos commanders realized what the humans were attempting. 5 of their largest warships broke formation, cutting directly toward the vulnerable Tylothian vessels. Commander, Jackson warned, they're deploying some kind of energy web, attempting to trap the sanctuary ships. Reeves studied the tactical display, mind racing. The Dauntless was fully engaged, drawing the bulk of the Tarvos fleet away from the evacuation zone. The Sunspear had successfully disabled 3 enemy vessels, but was now being pursued by a squadron of smaller attack craft. The Aegis stood alone between the advancing Tarvos warships and the failing Xylothian sanctuary ship. All power to forward shields, Reeves ordered. Position us directly in their path. The Aegis surged forward, its engines straining as it placed itself between hunter and prey. The Tarvos ships didn't slow their approach. "They're going to ram us," Chen said incredulously. "No," Reeves countered. "They think we'll move. Predators always expect prey to run." She stood from her command chair, eyes fixed on the approaching warships. "We are not prey." The lead Tarvos vessel fired, a direct hit that made the Aegis's shields flare brilliantly. "Shields at 40%, Jackson reported. "One more hit like that." "Hold position," Reeves insisted. "Deploy mine array. Pattern Kilo." Dozens of small objects scattered from the Aegis's underside, seemingly inert until the Tarvos ships were almost upon them. Then they activated simultaneously, creating a web of disruptive energy that entangled the enemy formation. 2 Tarvos ships collided, their shields shorting out against each other. A third veered wildly, its navigation systems compromised by the mine's electromagnetic pulse. The remaining ships pulled back, regrouping. "It worked," Chen exclaimed. "For now," Reeves cautioned, "begin evacuation procedures immediately. I want as many Xylothians transferred to our ship as possible before they regroup." The next hour passed in controlled chaos. The Aegis's shuttles ferried survivors from the failing sanctuary ship, while Xylothian transport pods docked with their airlocks. Medical teams worked tirelessly, adapting protocols on the fly for physiology they'd never encountered before. Through it all, the Tarvos Collective pressed their attack, relentless and single-minded. On the bridge, Commander Reeves received a direct communication request, not from the Xylothians, but from the Tarvos command vessel. The same bone-white face appeared, but now there was something new in those black eyes. Uncertainty. "Human Commander," the Tarvos leader began, "you fight without logic. You gain nothing from protecting these weaklings. They possess no valuable technology, no strategic resources. They are prey." "That," Reeves replied evenly, "is where you're wrong. The Xylothians have something profoundly valuable. Lives worth living, cultures worth preserving, futures worth fighting for. Just like us. Just like any sentient species." "Sentiment," the Tarvos sneered. "This explains your tactical irrationality." "Does it?" Reeves leaned forward. "Check your tactical displays again. Count your disabled ships. Measure the effectiveness of your superior approach." For the first time, the Tarvos commander seemed to falter, those pupilless eyes darting to something off-screen. "While your ships have been fighting independently, competing for kills," Reeves continued, "my 3 vessels have been operating as one cohesive unit. We communicate. We coordinate. We protect each other. That's not sentiment. That's strategy." As if to emphasize her point, the Sunspear suddenly emerged from behind a debris field, unleashing a barrage that disabled the engines of 2 more Tarvos vessels. "And now," Reeves said calmly, "I suggest you look at your long-range sensors." The Tarvos commander's face twisted in what might have been alarm. "More of your ships approach. 5 more, to be precise. The Valiant, the Resolute, the Challenger, the Defiant, and the Intrepid. All responding to the same distress call we did." Reeves allowed herself the smallest of smiles. "You called us sympathizer vermin. You should know that humans take insults quite personally, especially when they're directed at those who've come to help others." The comm screen split to show Captain Okuffer's face alongside the Tarvos commander. "Reinforcements are 8 minutes out, Maya," Okafor reported. "Admiral Vargas sent her regards." Seems those communication relays miraculously fixed themselves, right after she ordered half the patrol fleet to our position. The Tarvos commander's expression hardened. You would start a war for these nothing creatures. No, Reeves corrected. You started this when you decided that might makes right, that any species unable to defend itself deserves extinction. We're simply ending it. She gestured, and Chen cut the transmission. Status of the evacuation. Reeves asked Wade. 70% complete. The Oxylothian life vessel is stable, and we've transferred most of the vulnerable population from the failing ships. Jackson looked up from tactical. Commander, the Tarvos fleet is withdrawing. All vessels regrouping around their command ship. Reeves watched the tactical display as the enemy ships pulled back, forming a defensive perimeter. Not retreating entirely, but no longer pressing the attack. They're reassessing, she said. Good. That gives us time to complete the evacuation. When the Alliance reinforcements arrived minutes later, they found not a battle but a standoff. The Tarvos fleet held position at the edge of the system, watching as humans worked alongside the Tylothians to save as many lives as possible. 3 days later, Commander Reeves stood in Cargo Bay 3, now transformed into something between a hospital and a cultural exchange center. The air was humid, heavy with the salt scent that reminded her of Earth's oceans. Injured Xylothians floated in specially designed tanks, their bioluminescence stronger now, healthier. Medical staff moved between them, learning and adapting their care techniques. Arbiter Null approached, moving in the curious gliding walk their species used in air rather than water. Commander Reeves, the last of our sanctuary ships has been stabilized. Your engineers, they have accomplished in days what we thought impossible. They tend to do that, Reeves said with pride. How are your people holding up? We have lost many, Null admitted, their skin dimming momentarily in what Reeves had learned was an expression of grief. But many more live because of you, because humans answered when we called. We couldn't do otherwise. Null's head tilted in a gesture that had become familiar. Curiosity. The Tarvos commander contacted me. Do you know what they asked? Reeves raised an eyebrow. What? They asked why your species would risk so much for strangers, why you would place yourselves between predator and prey when you had nothing to gain. Null's skin rippled with soft blues and greens. I did not know how to answer. And now I begin to understand. Null gestured around the bay, where humans and Xylothians worked side by side. You see beyond immediate gain. You recognize that diversity of life, of thought, of culture has value in itself. Reeves nodded slowly. Something like that. Admiral Varga's voice came through her comm badge. Commander, the Senate representatives have arrived. They're requesting your presence in the conference room. On my way, Reeves acknowledged. To Null, she said, politics now. Less exciting than battle, but just as important. May I accompany you? The Arbiter asked. My people should witness this part too. How humans make peace as well as war. Together, they walked through the corridors of the Aegis, human and alien side by side. Crew members nodded respectfully as they passed. Some had been skeptical at first about risking their lives for an unknown species, but those doubts had faded in the shared work of the past days. In the main conference room, a delegation from Earth waited. Senators, diplomats, military advisors. Among them stood Admiral Varga, who stepped forward as Reeves and Null entered. Commander, she said formally, then allowed a brief smile. Well done. Thank you, Admiral. Reeves gestured to her companion. May I present Arbiter Null of the Xylothian remnant? The diplomatic talks that followed would last for hours, laying the groundwork for humanity's first formal alliance beyond the threshold. Terms were discussed, boundaries established, mutual defense pacts proposed. Through it all, Reeves observed the Xylothian delegation's growing confidence, no longer desperate refugees but partners in a new future. Later, as the official meetings concluded, Reeves found herself back at the viewport where this had all begun, staring out at the stars. Admiral Varga joined her, the the two women standing in comfortable silence before the Admiral spoke. The Tarvos Collective has withdrawn completely from this sector. Our intelligence suggests they're reevaluating their approach to expansion. Good, Reeves said. The Senate is divided on what happens next, Varga continued. Some want to establish a permanent presence beyond the threshold. A clear message that humanity stands ready to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Others fear we're overextending, inviting conflict we're not prepared for. Reeves considered this. And what do you think, Admiral? Varga smiled faintly. I think we crossed a line when the Aegis answered that distress call. Not just a boundary in space, but in our understanding of our place in the galaxy. She turned to face Reeves directly. For years we've asked ourselves if we were ready to join the larger community of spacefaring civilizations. Perhaps we had it backward. Perhaps they weren't ready for us. Beyond the viewport, a Xylothian transport glided past, its bioluminescent hull pulsing with what Reeves now recognized as patterns of gratitude and hope. Arbiter Null stood on its bridge, raising a hand in the human gesture of farewell they had adopted. They called out for help, Reeves said softly, and humanity answered. In the vastness of space, against the backdrop of countless stars and the unknown civilizations that orbited them, that simple truth seemed enough. For now.